welcome to our channel. My name's Colleen.
And my name is Meg. And on today's video, Colleen and I will be making Guinness cupcakes for you. This is what they look like. I was inspired by a fellow who's called the Irish Baker Abroad on YouTube. Now I have switched it up. He actually made a cake, Colleen.
Okay.
But I'm going to make cupcakes, and I've kind of changed the recipe, not too much, but a little bit just to make it our own.
Okay.
And we might as well just get started. So the Irish Baker Abroad, he did not
Reduce it?
He did not reduce his beer. I thought it was a good idea just to burn off some of the alcohol. Obviously you don't have to do that because he didn't do that, but I thought it'd be a good idea. So you just do this for about 15 minutes.
And just simmer it?
Just simmer it, yes.
Okay.
You don't use the whole can eventually. You only use half a cup when it's time.
Oh, excellent. It's good that you reduce it. Good flavor. That'll be great flavor.
Yes. It takes away the alcohol but keeps the flavor of the beer. And beer has been used for years for cooking. I didn't know that. It tenderizes meats. We've used it in stews, the Irish stew. You can use it in baking. So while that's reducing, I'm just getting out my little cupcake liners. You can use dark ones. I think that would be a nice effect, but this is just what we had on hand at the time. Preheat the oven to 350. While the oven is preheating, that's when I put all the ingredients together. I'm using a 1 cup of all-purpose flour here. I'm going to sift that through. You use a 3/4 cups of unsweetened cocoa powder, and it's always really good to sift this through cocoa powder because it kind of sits in the cupboard for a while.
Exactly.
You can use a strainer here, or you can actually buy sifters that you can use, but the strainer works just as well. You don't have to do the baking soda and the baking powder. I'm using 1.5 teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Get all those dry ingredients together.
Blend it all nicely in together. It's all nice and smooth. I'm using a whisk here, but you could use a spoon or whatever you like, whatever works for you.
Yeah, you want to make sure the baking soda and the baking powder are all mixed in.
Evenly.
Even, yes.
You can see by the bowl there it looks pretty well blended. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to add my 1 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of white sugar.
That's a good combination.
Yes.
Because the brown sugar gives it a little bit more flavor.
Flavor, yes. You can use 2 large eggs or extra large eggs, whatever you have on hand.
And those need to be at room temperature, I think.
Yes, they do. I was going to add my oil in there, but I thought I'd better blend the eggs, the sugar, and the sugars together just to get them all blended in and the sugars kind of melted, and because the it's like adding oil and vinegar. The oil doesn't mix in quite as well.
There you go.
So the oil is a half a cup and 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil.
You're doing a great job mixing that up.
And now we have a 3/4 cup sour cream.
Oh, that'll make it rich as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people use mayonnaise, but I like this idea of sour cream.
Now I'm putting the Guinness, which is a half a cup of the Guinness that we had reduced.
Nice and rich. Looks beautiful.
And now my 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
And we use pure vanilla extract.
Here I am, my patience, Colleen.
So usually when you're mixing the dry into the wet, you put a little bit at a time.
Yes, but I don't have much patience, so I just dump it all in at once, which probably isn't the best. But
Well, but you're willing to do the mixing, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
think it's a little bit more difficult that way, putting it all in at once. It
Yes,
takes a little bit of
it takes
time.
a little while. And especially with the cocoa powder, because sometimes it can make a little bit of a cloud. But
Right.
you've done a great job. Looks good. You're getting it all mixed in
Yeah.
nicely.
I've got that all mixed in nicely, and here I'm going to be putting in a half a cup of boiling water. And it really kind of activated the baking soda a little bit. You could just hear it fizz a little bit.
Oh,
But the boiling water used in baking enhances the cocoa flavor, and some people say it gives a real, chocolatey flavor.
right. And you were smart to put in just a little bit at a time
Yes.
because you don't want to have scrambled eggs in your cake.
That's right.
It's a beautiful batter.
It really turned out nice. You could lessen the water if you wanted to. This worked out quite well, and then I just filled up my little liners with a scoop. It works out well with the scoop. Now, if the batter was a little bit denser, I probably would actually use the scoop, but I didn't really need to.
That batter is really nice to pour.
Mm-hmm.
And you ended up with
20 cupcakes. I put them in the oven at 350 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. Right here I'm poking it with a
cake tester.
cake tester. You can also use a toothpick. When you put it in your muffin, you pull it out. If it's dry, the muffins are done. Sometimes Colleen will hit the muffins on top
Just
of it to see if
tap
they're
it.
springy.
Don't hit them. I just tapped them.
You tap them. Now for the icing. This is the good part.
All right. So we're going to start with our stand mixer. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sift the icing sugar.
And how much icing sugar? Just the whole bag you put in there?
4 cups. It's not the whole bag. That was a big
okay.
bag. So 4 cups of icing sugar. And I did a cup at a time because I wanted to make sure all those little bits. And then once it's all ready, now I'm going to do, so it's a half cup butter and it's room temperature. You can see it's definitely coming off that nicely. And we're using the stand mixer and just mixing it up. We want the butter nice and fluffy. So you start off slow and then you make it go a little faster. Then we're going to add the Philadelphia cream cheese. It's a 250 gram brick. Now this is light. You can use regular cream cheese as well, but don't use spreadable. It makes the icing too thin. So we're just got to mix the cream cheese and the butter together. And then 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And then start off slowly and then gradually mix it more. And then get it off the paddle and scrape down the sides. And this is where you do that patience thing. So we're going to do about a cup at a time of icing sugar and then start it slowly because icing sugar makes clouds all the time. So you mix it in. So you do that so 4 times total. And now what we're doing is we're getting our icing bag ready. So it is a disposable icing bag. And that's the coupling that you use. So this is how I do it. So I stick it down as far as I can and give it a good push. And then what I do is I use my thumbnail. And what that does, it creates a mark where I should cut the bag. Okay, because I know the coupling's going to go that far. So I do that, then I push it back. And you can see that there's a line on the bag. And I'm just going to cut at that line. And so what that's going to allow the coupling to just go to the end. And then when I put the tip and the other part of the coupling on, it stays nice.
What size of tip did you use here?
It's a 1M. Then you're going to tighten that up. And you want to flip the icing, top of the icing back down. And then we're just going to put in the icing. the cup holds it steady for you. Now you can wipe, like this was pretty fluid. Because the butter and the cream cheese were at room temperature, it softened it a bit using the mixer.
So you could put that in the fridge, probably a good idea. Put that in the fridge for a little bit.
Absolutely. So you can see, and you could wipe that off. You can see I'm using the side of the bag to wipe it off. And then you just give it a squeeze down. I've heard some people grab it and whip it around so you don't get air bubbles. And then you go round and then gradually work in and then make a little dot and come up.
And you did this 20 times.
Exactly.
And we had a really nice end result. They all turned out quite nice. And there they are.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They turned out very nice. Colleen and I are going to try the Guinness Cupcakes for the very first time. We always know this cream cheese is a hit because we put that on different things. That's our go-to.
That's right.
Cream cheese, we love that. So we know that's going to be good. So are you ready for this, Colleen?
I'm ready.
And we'll either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
All right, let's pull off
And we'll let you know how it tastes. They're very moist. It feels moist.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh my goodness.
Here
I
we
could have
go.
made it a little bit bigger in hindsight, but I'm liking it.
Okay. Lovely.
Definitely.
Very nice.
Thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Try this recipe. It's amazing.
Exactly.
I think your guests would love it. Your kids would love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very chocolatey.
It is. It's beautiful.
I think that water that they added in really made it chocolatey.
Exactly.
It's moist.
And it's really a nice combination with the Guinness and with the cream cheese frosting. I really like that.
It's really a great combination. So thank you for watching. And until next time,
You take care.
care.